School doesn't provide you with the wider education that you need in life. It doesn't provide you with life edge education. You may train yourself to pass the exam, but do you understand what you learned? School. Let's start with the good and then we can then get with the bad, man. The idea of the general idea of school is right. Education. I think that education is one of the most important things in life. And I feel that teachers are underpaid. I always feel like if the people that have to be paid, doctors, teachers, nurses, scientists, unfortunately soldiers. These are the guys that should be the highest paid in the world. But teachers are vital to any society because you need to educate people, especially educate people the right way. Because remember, the youth, these guys are the future. So education is important and education is key. And school provides that because the idea of school is that you're going there to educate yourself. But that is just looking at school on the macro level, in the general sense. But then it's about, okay, this is what we intend to do. But once we actually enroll, we sit into the classroom, we go to the classes and so forth. And now to the day of this, what is this actually about? So that's where we now get to the micro level, and that's where the issues arise. Because this is the mistake that people make. Again, it's just the issues of school. It's you are programmed to, I need to get 65% on this test. I need to pass this test and so forth. And once I've finished these 3 years, these 5 years and so forth, I'm done. I've finished. The best education you get is when you leave school. And the best education that you can have for yourself is independent education. Because obviously the general education that you learn with regards to general math, general grammar, general history, although history is written by the conquerors, not the conquered. So history is stuff that you have to even question yourself. But just general science and stuff. This stuff is just good in the general scheme of things, But then there's other education that you need, which is about life and what you actually do once you now get out into life. So I think the best way to talk about this thing is talk about it from personal experience, because even today now it's weird. Every time I see little kids come and break from school, I get flashbacks. And I get nightmarish flashbacks because I just hated school. Because I always say to people that everyone hates school. Everyone hated school, apart from some strange weirdos who enjoy school. Most people hated school. I am willing to bet everything I own plus more, I hated school more than you. And I think it's because I just had a very particular personality. And the kind of personality that I had did not merge well with these are rules. You have to be here at this time. You have to do things this way and so forth. Hence why the only things I went to is not that I had to go to, because I knew that if I don't go to these lessons, my parents would lubricate Sandra Croft and levitate me. Anything extracurricular, anything that was outside the whole thing of this is why we're here. So anything outside of my contract, I didn't go. And I used to get into trouble because I remember because we used to go to these special plays and so forth, and literally I would find ways of not going. And a few times I got caught. A few times I didn't get caught, but anything extracurricular, I was like, no, I'm not going. Is it maths, physics, chemistry? I don't want to go, but I have to go. That's why my parents are paying these fees. Anything extra that I'm going to go to, especially if it's in a group, it's not happening. I'm not going. So, but I think beyond that is school doesn't provide you with the wider education that you need in life. It doesn't provide you with life edge education. School assumes, and this is the key thing, school assumes you're a 9-to-5er. Now, you could be a 9-to-5er, you could not be. But the school system assumes you're a 9-to-5er and doesn't even take into account that you could be an entrepreneur. Doesn't take into account that you could be perhaps an artist or so forth. Because I always tell this, because I remember this guy, really good friend of mine when we were in school. He just wasn't very good academically. You know, he just wasn't his thing. The guy was an excellent drummer. He was a superb drummer. And then in my mind, I was like, bro, just get your GCSEs or so forth. Because that's how they do it in the UK. Get your GCSEs and so forth. Just have good general education and dedicate your life to perfecting your craft. Because the other issue with school is a lot of it depends on your teacher. You know, one of the best teachers I've ever had, shout out to Mrs. Ganza, Ghanaian teacher that I had in Nigeria when I was 6 years old. And I want to bring that up again. So there's so many things. So look, no, let me even bring that. So this is going off a little tangent. Let me bring that because that's really important. So I went to nursery school and primary school in Nigeria. And then I went to school for 2 years in Geneva. Then I came into secondary school in England. So the notion was, when I was in Nigeria, the notion was the white man is better. England is better. They're better educated. They're much more intelligent and so forth. So I was just assuming that, like, man, when I get to England and so forth, everyone's going to be smarter than me, everyone's going to be clever than me, and I've got to really work twice as hard to really be on the same footing as these white guys. You know, so like, damn, because the assumption was, hey, we are Africans, we are black, we are backward, you know, and our education surely can't be better than our colonial masters. They surely can't be. So that was just the assumption that I had. You see, for me, my thing is English was my thing, not maths. I was horrible at maths. So I'm like a right side of the brain rather than a left side of the brain. I think they say right side are images and creativity, left side are numbers and logic. Like logic, numbers and everything, my brain just shuts down. I'm much more creative. So English was my thing. So I was actually, you know, a pretty good speller, you know, and pretty good at writing when I was in Nigeria and so forth. And what I found out when I came to England, first off, so when I was 12, I think I was the best speller in the whole school. And they could know. So when I was 12, I had a spelling age of 16. So I was like the best speller in the school. So what it was that the words were being given to spell when I was in Nigeria was far more advanced than the stuff that were given to spell when I went to England. So the education and everything was far more advanced. And then obviously when I now moved on, when I was 14 and so forth, I was in the top sets in English. You know, so like, yeah, I was in the top set. So like my writing was popping up and everything because the education in Nigeria was more advanced. So it just shows you how weird things are. The notion was, oh, no, like, you know, we're black, we're African, we're backward. But no, our education in England, so our education in Nigeria was more advanced for our age than what it was in England. So when I went to, I was decent at English in Nigeria, not amazing. But then once I now came into England, I was super amazing because it was so advanced in Nigeria. So that was an interesting notion there. But so we now look at school and what school is about. See, school, the biggest issue I had in school, I mean, there's so many issues. Okay, the biggest issue I had in school was why don't we have any careers? I believed I only had one lesson in terms of careers. So okay, what can you do vocationally and so forth, and that was it. Everything is just systemized. So chemistry, physics, maths, English, geography, all this stuff. But it's like, okay, let's say I'm amazing at geography or amazing at chemistry. Can I get a job? Is there an actual job that I can get if I'm really good at these certain subjects? There really wasn't, you know? And there is no notion of the outside world. You are just kept within this bubble. There is no notion of like, okay, bring in a plumber, bring in an electrician, bring in a carpenter, bring in these guys that have these vocational things, and let's just learn how to, you know, plumb a toilet, learn how to build a table or a cupboard or a chest of drawers. Just these basic things that, oh, maybe you can have a knack of these things. So you are kept in a bubble. It is very systemized and it is just very controlled. And this is why I say, like, for advice for people is independently educate yourself. Do not, and I repeat, do not rely on the education you get in school. Have it in your pockets, put it in there as well, but go out there and use the independent education. Because I say to guys that, especially for your generation, because in my time, YouTube was in its early stages. I don't think was YouTube around. I think YouTube was around, but was in its early stages right now. So, and broadband didn't exist, so it was dial-up. So it would take like 3,000 years to load up a single page. There was dial-up, and YouTube was very early, so there was not even those many videos on YouTube. Right now, you have broadband, super fast broadband. You have your mobile phone, and the amounts of stuff you can find on the internet and on YouTube is crazy. So I always say to guys that independently educate yourself, and maybe you can fall into a vocation that can truly help you out into the world. Because I repeat, school does not prepare you for the world. The only thing I got from school that helps is timekeeping. That's a yes. Because that's something I now use in what I do in football hot. Is like, be on time, schedule. If you say this time, make sure that you're on there at that time. So that's, but what I'm doing now, what I'm doing now has nothing to do with what I learned in school. Like, there is nothing I learned in school with what I do with the football hot with football analysis, because it's like that is my performance skills, my ability to perform, which I always did when I was young, when I was acting in plays and on films. Football, which is I've always liked some. I mean, you see, school can give you just general things. Hence why it's stuff that's general rather than specific. Hence why it's on a macro level. Education is key. So in terms of, let's say you're writing an essay, I think what you learn in school is, okay, how do you organize something? So let's say I'm analyzing something. So what they'll teach in school is, okay, presents your thing in a very systematic manner. Be structured in how you want to portray a thing. But there's nothing specific in all those years in school, all those chemistry lessons, all those physics lessons, all those geography lessons and so forth. There was nothing in there that has helped me do what I'm doing right now. Nothing specific, just general educational stuff, but nothing actual specific has anything to do with what I'm doing now. But I think even beyond that, I mean, as I said again, like, I hated school. I have no good memories of school. None. Like, all the jokes that me and my friends had, all the fun that we had them based off just how much we hated the situation. So all the laughs and all the jokes were based off, look, man, we need to crack some jokes because this is a horrible situation that we're in. I remember I went to boarding school, so I was a boarder. So I was just there like literally 24/7. So it was like, man, we are on lockdown here. But as I said again, like, no, from a school, the way school operates, it's nah. Because again, it's because my thing is, you are at the behest of your teacher. Because I had some good teachers, but I had more brick teachers than good teachers. And if you don't have a good teacher, you're not going to learn anything. You just won't. You're not going to learn anything. But I think even beyond that, this is the biggest failure of school. You learn to pass the test and to pass the exam. You don't really learn to understand what you're being taught. Because there's so much pressure on you to pass, to get that A, to get a 75%, and to get the grades and so forth, it becomes a memory game. So you're like, let me just memorize what this is, and I'll just put that stuff in and then boom. But you're not really understanding. And I suppose that is what university tries to bring. I think university is like, no. You need to now understand stuff and really apply the stuff that you learn. Just having the whole memory thing, it's going to pop off. But that's the issue about school. Most of the stuff that you learn and so forth, you forget, like, what's it called? I think there was something, I forgot it's psychoplasm No, vacuole chloroplast. I think nucleus, cell membrane, cytoplasm, something, or Mrs. Gren, which is what any creature does, which is what movements, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. So these are all the elements that make up what a creature should do. But all these things, they're just ingrained in my mind because obviously if you come from an African family or a Nigerian family and so forth, I distinctly remember I was under so much pressure. Because I was under so much pressure because I was like, if I fail, you're pretty much dead. And all you Nigerians will know that based on how much the parents puts on you. I remember biology. It's my first exam, GCS exam. I was shaking. I was so nervous. I was shaking during that biology exam. So I was like, what the freak, So, and my thing about it is that, okay, even the notion of the exam, you may train yourself to pass the exam, but do you understand what you learned? Did you just learn it just to pass the exam for that moment? Or is that information that has been embedded in you that you now fully understand? Let's keep it a stack. Most guys don't fully understand what they've been taught. They're like, okay, let me just memorize it. Because it's like a game. Memorize it and ensure that I have as much of this in my memory bank. So then once this question comes up, I can just regurgitate this from what's in my memory bank. Rather, no. I understand it so well. I don't have to memorize it. I just understand it. It's embedded within me. So I can really answer it in a much realer, organic way. So that's why I just say, for school, man, you need to... because here's the thing. I said again, like, school assumes you're a 9 to 5, which is wrong. You should never assume everyone is everything. Not everybody ain't the same. Everybody ain't the same. And I think the biggest failure of school is there are not enough careers lessons, and there are not enough lessons with entrepreneurs. Like, what if I ran a school? Yeah, you have your general math, biology, and so forth, but I would invite entrepreneurs to come and speak, and I would have careers. So I'd invite plumbers to speak and demonstrate, carpenters to speak and demonstrate, and entrepreneurs, businessmen to come and speak. And so the entrepreneur will say, hey, this is what I did to become an entrepreneur, to become a businessman, and so forth. This is the stuff that I invented and so forth. And maybe that presentation can spark something in that 14-year-old, that 15-year-old, that 16, that 17-year-old to be like, I had an idea similar, or this idea that I had on everything. Okay, maybe if I work in it a bit more, ensure it's proper, do a SWOT analysis, so, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and if it's still popping off, then I apply for a patent, look at intellectual property and so forth, and then I can actually, maybe do something, because you see, what you have as like a teenager, or if you're just entering into university and so forth, you've got time. You have time, like I don't have that time anymore. But when you're in school, you have time. So yeah, you have your schooling on your lessons, but it's like you have time to be like, what is this vocation I can do? So when you're in those summer holidays and everything, yeah, man, game out, get on Xbox Live, do your thing and so forth. But you could be like, how about, what if all right, what about this, what about that? So yeah, man, as I said again, look, I mean, as I said, it's weird because again, it's like education is key. But there's education, and then there's the system of school. And school is a very particular system that is connected to the government, because what the government wants, what the machine wants, is to ensure that the conveyor belt keeps on turning, and that they are breeding a certain kind and breed of people. Like, look, I don't view myself as a special guy or something, but I am just what I am. I wasn't rebellious, and everything. Like, because I had Nigerian parents, I wasn't messing around. But I just didn't react well to rules. I didn't react well because I was always the guy that would question like, wait, why? Or why do I have to? No. Why do I have to do that? You have to tell me why. You can't just say because you have to. No, why? So I was always up like, no. This school thing, yeah, I'll do it. I said like, what's it called? In my last day of freaking school, man, I didn't even say bye to anybody. I was out, man. Because I hated it so much. I wasn't into socializing with people. I had my own circle of friends and everything. Look, I cracked jokes and everything, but I was like, this has an end date. And I am walking towards the end date. And as soon as the end date comes, I'm out of here because I freaking hate this place. I despise this freaking place. So that's my last piece of advice for you guys is, get the grades that you need because that's why you're there. But your education doesn't stop there. And educate yourself around school, educate yourself around the system, and educate yourself beyond what the system gives you. And I think once you do that, then you'll definitely put yourself in a much stronger position to be able to say what's up.